Hey all my future buyers and sellers out there, I'm here to teach you more than you knew before about the real estate process. And today we're playing a miniature game of Would You Rather. Say you're getting sued and you need to find a lawyer fast. Are you gonna go out, do your research, compare rates, and find someone with your best interest in mind where you're their number one priority? Or would you rather go hire the lawyer of the person that's suing you? I'm just gonna let the logic sink in, and you can let me know what you do in the comments down below. But this situation is completely applicable to real estate. It's just like if you went out shopping for a house and you wanted to buy something and you trusted in the listing agent, the seller's agent, to put the entire deal together. Don't you want somebody on your side representing you and coaching you through the entire process instead of entrusting the person that was hired by your competitor, your other half of the negotiation? Well, exactly why you need a buyer's agent. So let the learning begin. Hey, it's Ella with Ella Estate Realty, and if you're returning, you've seen my videos before and I've piqued your interest, I still appreciate you. You can still leave me some love with some likes, make sure I'm doing something right up here. If you have never been here before, I'm Ella, local real estate agent, and I give you all the tips, hints, and hacks you can handle about real estate. As for today's topic, we're going over what a buyer's agent is compared to a listing agent, seller's agent, all those fun real estate related words, but also 5, 6, 7 reasons why you should keep a buyer's agent around if you're in the market for buying a house, and why you should bring them on as early as possible. And when you stay tuned all the way to the end, I'm covering how they're paid, their commission splits, rates, the positive and negative of each, and I have a feeling that a majority of you out there don't really grasp how they're paid, so definitely stick around for that little nugget of information. To kick off the video, we're going to compare listing agents and buyer's agents and why they're so different. There is a multitude of real estate agents out there with all kinds of specialties and qualifications and extended education, but I'm touching on just the basics today. We're going over the listing agent, who helps out a seller to sell their house, who is assigned to put the house up for sale, take pictures, make sure it gets on the MLS, make sure that all the marketing and advertisement goes out to attract buyers. And then there's a buyer's agent that assists a buyer in finding the correct house for them. A lot of people have a misconception that they can just go out shopping for a house on their own, which technically you can. Walk into an open house or walk up to an agent with a house up for sale and just say, I want this house, this is how much I'll pay. And you have all your financing set up. I will caution you and warn you that it is in your best interest to have a professional representing you as their number one priority instead of just using the same agent that is for the listing. Why, you ask? Well, let's go over the 7 reasons why a buyer's agent benefits you in the buying process. Number 1 is assisting you with financing. Even though a lot of you think that the buying process starts with plugging in all your criteria to a search engine and checking out the results, I plead to you, figure out how much you can actually spend before you get overwhelmed by the search results. By doing this, by bringing on a buyer's agent from the beginning, a real estate agent that can assist you in the buying process, they're going to be able to touch base on the types of financing that you could apply for, the types of lenders that you can get in contact with, recommendation, always shop around, 3 opinions, and then also the differences between pre-approval and pre-qualifications, and just in general being able to put your lender information side by side and seeing which one works best for you, in addition to how much you can actually spend. So say you're pre-approved for $1 million, but it might be in your best interest to stay around the $800,000 range, and maybe you just need some outsider's opinion to give you a little heads up about this. So those right out the gate, that's why a buyer's agent comes into play before you even start looking for a house. Number 2 is finding the right property for you. As soon as you get number 1 out of the way and you get your financing all set up and you figure out what your price range is, then we narrow your search even more. Now, when you hire a trusted real estate agent, it is up to them to take in all the information of your wants and needs. Personally, when I have a buyer interested in getting started, I send out a little brochure about how to prepare themselves and also a buyer profile form, which is amongst other things, a survey. So I can get a better handle on their wants and needs. I can identify what's more important to them, a fenced yard or vaulted ceilings or a fireplace or, a gardening area, whatever applies to them. After I talk with them about these wants and needs and make sure that I have it well defined, then I carry that over to plugging it into the MLS. Now, when you work with a buyer's agent, a real estate agent working with you, they have all access to the MLS, which is multiple listing service, where houses are listed publicly for sale. You on your own don't have access to this, so this is another benefit, but we plug in your criteria to that, and then I set up automated emails, and I hope your agent does this too, where as soon as something comes on the market, you know about it first. It gets sent to you. Now, before I let it hit my client's inbox, I actually send it to me. Hopefully, again, your agent's doing this too, where they're sifting through all the incorrect things about the property that maybe a computer didn't catch, that it really is built the wrong year for you and it wouldn't apply to your wants and needs, or that it was misprinted on the price of it, or that it's already pending and sold and you don't even have an opportunity to put in an offer, which can really frustrate people. So like I said, it narrows the search even more. And once these fine, well-defined search results hit your inbox, then we're on to figuring out what fits you best. Now, after you told me your wants and needs, I'm there to remind you, because it is an emotional process. You want the agent in your corner saying, hey, you said school districts were number 1 to you, and this house, I know you love it, but it doesn't fit in that. Or this house fits a lot of your wants and needs, but when you go to resell it, which is you're buying property in hopes to resell it for a profit, it won't do very well because it's on a main road. Even though you're okay with that, the majority of buyers aren't. So that's why you have their opinions along the way, to help you sift through your results and not get overwhelmed with the mass quantity of houses that are out there, because there is such a variety and such a location variety too, that you really want somebody to ground you in this process, and that is what a buyer's agent is there for. Number 3 is educating you on the current market and market conditions. Now, whether you say it's a buyer's market or a seller's market and you are not in the real estate industry, these are generalized labels. To actually know what kind of market it is and to put in a competitive offer on a house, you're gonna have to do some calculations. And that's where your buyer's agent comes into play. They're taking all the last sales in the last 3 months or in that neighborhood, or with the criteria that you want in a house, and comparing it to others, doing a competitive market analysis to make sure that your offer that you put in makes sense for the current market. They're also taking in information and statistics about how long houses are on the market for, absorption rates, how fast they're selling, if it's above listing price, if it's below. All those things will dictate what kind of a market it is. So just don't listen to generalizations like you already know what's good. I would suggest to ask a professional, and that's when a buyer's agent comes into the process. Number 4 is putting together a competitive offer and also helping you out with the negotiations along the way. After you've finished number 3 and you know what kind of market you're in, you'll definitely have a better handle on what kind of offer to make and whether you'll be outbidding other people or lowballing. But after you know the conditions, then you move on to putting in an offer and putting that together. Now, whether you're phenomenal at negotiation over Craigslist or you're a salesperson yourself, you're not necessarily going to know all the disclosures and the contingencies and the paperwork that goes along with putting together a real estate offer. And that is where you have a buyer's agent, somebody representing your best interest, that is able to point out all the little verbiage that you might miss if you're reading it over for the first time. It's always better to have somebody that deals with a process daily, that has experienced different things that you should be more aware of than you just going into it and thinking that you know everything that's included already. You just want to protect yourself because this is a huge investment. So having an agent by your side, they'll be able to go over the seller disclosure form with you and red flag things, or know that you need an acceleration clause because it's really competitive market. Those kinds of things, it's just not general knowledge. So that's when an agent definitely helps you out. Number 6 is keep the process moving along. You know that after you put in your offer and you even negotiate the terms, it's still like a 30 to 60 day on average closing period where there's a lot of mediation that needs to go into that, a lot of communication with different people, whether it's the escrow company talking to your loan officer, or it's the real estate agent making sure that they're scheduling the inspector before the inspection contingency ends. It's just much simpler on you buying a house if you have somebody making sure that all of this is going off without struggles. You're meeting all your deadlines, you know what's going on the day-to-day, that you're not involved in all that communication that's muttering up your work life. This is supposed to be a simple process when you hire a professional that handles all those things for you. Let them earn the commission. That's why they're paid to do these things. So take advantage of it. And number 7 is being your ultimate real estate resource. Talking through all the tips before, there's a lot of questions that will arise during this process, and it's just nice to have somebody to turn to get an instant answer instead of trying to Google the answer and being overwhelmed with the jargon that comes back to you. You just want somebody that, knows how to talk to you, that knows how to answer your questions, that makes you feel more comfortable with the process. Let alone recommending contractors, inspectors, all the people that are along with you through this process. You can use them because they've already experienced and worked with people, and they can give you better recommendations than you just gone through Angie's List. In addition, that even after the process closes, the house closes, it's all yours, you move in, there's still going to be questions that arise. It's a long-term relationship that you're looking to build with your agent, and hopefully you're able to use that buyer's agent when you go to list your house, when you sell it. So I want them to become, a wealth of knowledge. And if you don't have that with the person you're working with, then maybe shop around, but that's what is supposed to be detailed out in a buyer's agent job description, just being there for you. And here is that bonus topic of the day, is how are they paid? It's just like, you think that sellers, agents have a commission percentage of the sale price. You think that buyers agents have that and it's out of your pocket because, whatever reason. But actually, did you know that the seller pays the commission of the buyer's agent? So why would you not use them? Make the most of it in the contract. Granted, there are some negotiating tactics that can deviate from this, whether you are trying to negotiate a better price by sacrificing your buyer's agent commission. But hopefully, if they're doing their job right, this doesn't even come into mind. Also, there's other buyer's agents, discount agents that will charge less or give a rebate in hopes to, appeal to the masses of getting a great deal. But honestly, in this kind of massive exchange of property and money, do you really want somebody that is sacrificing how much they get paid for your best interest when they need to negotiate how much you will pay for your house? Don't you want somebody that can lock in their own paycheck so that they can apply that same knowledge and expertise to negotiating your house? I'm just saying. Don't shoot the messenger. So just be aware of that small print. Definitely have this discussion with your buyer's agent. Make sure you know exactly how they're getting paid, and that they prove themselves that they're worth the commission, because obviously that's the reason why you're bringing them on, to make the process smoother. So my end goal of this video was to just get you to understand that there is a difference between listing agents and buyer's agents, and why you might see an advantage of using an agent, even from the get-go, right from the beginning. So bring them on, hire them up, you know, make sure they're vetted, shop around, but definitely take advantage of this because it's there to benefit you, and all in all, they're gonna earn their commission. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ella with Ella Estate Realty, and you guys have a marvelous day.